Okay, so hello everyone watching this amazing video of ET Village. So I guess if you are watching this, you're just interested in seeing how should one play this map, like more or less. What's the main objective here if you don't yet know it? And yeah, I'm just planning to do, as this map is going to be one of the casual gather map. Hopefully it's gonna be fun as well. Wing. Then I'll just show you pretty much everything you should know about this map. So after watching this video, I hope you will not leave without the crucial information that you need here. So Village is like a typical allies attacking Axis defending map. It comes from RTCW, but I think it's gonna be perfectly fine for ET for 616 as well. So the main objective actually is to bring gold crate, which we can see inside this crypt, into the truck that's next to ally spawn inside here. I probably don't even need to jump inside, but I guess coming like here as well will do it, but we'll check it later. So the question is, how do you get there, how do you destroy the crypt, and where Axis spawn and shit like that. So as you can see, the ally spawn is in this area. Also a kind of crucial information, because it's like the crypt is kind of close to Axis spawn, and if you manage to come to ally spawn, like this area is pretty safe from Axis. I mean, they can obviously come here and still try to recap the dogs, the gold, but it's very risky for them. The default spawn time for this map, which is also the same in RTCW, is 30 seconds for both teams. Yeah, and how do you do that? Usually there are like two ways to get into cemetery and then into crypt. So you got a long way, which is this way, and you have a fence here, which you probably, if you like the fastest guy that comes out of spawn, he should just like throw a nade here. If it's well aimed, then it will just, you know, destroy the fence. You can obviously shoot the fence as well. So if the nade is kind of fail, then it's still okay because you can still destroy it. So you can come here, or the same. I mean, you can get to the same place going right side and then left here. I'm gonna show you what's there in front of me and on the left a little bit later. So we are right now in South Courtyard, as you can see, because there are two courtyards. Like behind that wall there is another one, which is probably called North Courtyard, as this is South. But usually like a lot of action is happening here. But on first spawn as allies there should be no resistance here yet. And we just, usually it's like there's like 4 or 5 people going this way. Because there is flag on this map and you want to cap it, so you can spawn, so you don't need to spawn way back there in ally spawn, and you can spawn closer to cemetery and just keep the pressure there. So this is the North Courtyard, which you can like use MG here as well, or Axis and allies obviously. And actually the very crucial part of this map, one of the probably second hardest, is to go through this place here called Tavern, because that's the place where actually on first spawn allies meet Axis. So Axis should theoretically be, I will show you like the map from Axis perspective as well. So maybe we're just gonna focus on allies right now. But yeah, this is the place where you will have first fight. And I was thinking, because like in RTCW the Panzerfaust is obviously like kind of overpowered, so using it is kind of necessary here if you want to get in, especially for Axis to stop you, because you know there is just like this one door that you can go through inside the tavern. So if all medics and engineers or whatever classes you have just come through this door, then the Panzer can just kind of kill them. But obviously, like in our, I think in ET having Panzer here would also be beneficial, especially for Axis. And then on the other hand, for allies, probably rifle grenades would be better. So going through the tavern, there's like a lot of hallways you can go. You can go right here and jump from the window, or just, yeah, you can, or you can just go middle and you can go left as well. And here is the flag post. So if you're gonna cap it, you will just spawn here. And then you go left. This is the only way you should go, because going back into tavern will just move you back towards the ally spawn. You get to ammo and med cabinets here, and I guess I'll need to go NG to show you the next part of the map. So the hardest part of the map is actually, we are in the wine cellar right now, and if there are two ladders that lead to the cemetery. This is the first one. It's called a cemetery ladder because when you go up, there is a cemetery here, as you can see, with graves. And there is also another one called crypt ladder, which is closer to the crypt. That's why it's called crypt ladder. Not a big surprise, I guess. And the gold is here. So we need to plant the crypt in order to get into
dynamite planted
inside it. And obviously there is a huge resistance and huge fights going on the cemetery between Axis and allies. And usually in I would like to see how it goes in ET, but usually in RTCW you just go LT, so you go field ops and throw one strike from crypt ladder, one strike from the cemetery ladder, and you just hope if they are aimed nicely and you get some people on full and you revive each other, then it's doable to move up using the ladders and just take control of it and destroy the crypt and then take the gold. So there's also this fence here which you can destroy just by shooting or grenading. And now I'm gonna show you the second way to get here. So we went through the tavern, through the south courtyard and north courtyard, to flag, and then to wine cellar. So that was the long way, and there's also short way. So if, for example, all axes are full or there's a lot of full and we got like control over the map as allies, then you can just grab the gold and go this way. Here is, by the way, the two houses where Axis spawn, and it's the only place that Axis spawn. So no matter what happens on the map, they always spawn here. We can go here, and this is the short way. There's like a destroyed, I don't know, a destroyed house, or something like that. That's pretty much the only house that is like accessible for both sides. Except for the spawn areas there, which I will show you later, but there is just like two rooms here. You cannot like open this door anyway. So you got that fence there as well. In RTCW you can jump over it, but maybe in it it's possible. It doesn't really matter because you can like destroy it anyway. And you got like the MG courtyard here because there's MG here, or you can just go here using the water. I guess that place is like called water. There's a bridge here which you can jump on, so that's like a fast way to get up and be very close to ally spawn. But usually like there are some Axis camping here as well, taking control of it, so so it might be hard. But you can go also this direction, and we are in the small courtyard, so there are like 4 courtyards on this map, and using this way, as you probably remember, we can get into the south hall, south courtyard. We are in a thing called elbow now, because it's like, or like L, because it's like kinda, it's like an L letter. And in order to go back to the spawn, the fastest way probably is just coming here near the tower and just delivering the dogs into the truck. So I guess that's the allies part, the allies perspective of this map. And also I would like to say that, for example, usually it's like if you get dogs, then the gold from crypt, then usually a lot of people should spawn at flag, but there also be like at least 1 or 2 players spawning back spawn, because you will like automatically, after capping the flag, you will obviously automatically spawn at the flag near tavern. But if you choose spawn point 1, you will spawn back. So you can also put the pressure on Axis coming from their spawn to cover all different courtyards, water area, tower from behind, so you can like back rape them. So yeah, and probably when allies have gold, and the default way of like making it kinda safe for dog carrier is just going here, using going back like into the wine cellar, using ladders, and then probably self-killing at the flag, where other allies players can help this guy, and then just going back into the spawn, into the truck, using north and south courtyard. And I suppose that's it when it comes to allies. And now I'll show you some things as Axis, which can be useful in order to like defend the map and full holding allies. So when you spawn as Axis, you either spawn in this house, in this room, or that one. And usually you just like divide yourself into 2 groups. Axis need to have one guy that covers, at least one guy that covers short, because we just like kinda think that allies will do, probably everyone of allied team on at least on first spawn will go tavern, but they might have like one NG, for example, sneaking short, or a field ops that will try to spawn rape Axis. So we need to have one guy, at least one guy, checking this area, pushing allies spawn, be kinda like annoying for allies, but at the same time that guy who plays short needs to kinda make sure that there is no one sneaking through this area, because you normally don't have anyone, at least in the beginning of the map, that covers like the cemetery, because everyone is in tavern. So yeah, you need to be the person that plays short needs to have like eyes at sneakers, and also be annoying for allies.
I'm a soldier.
So yeah, you need to have one guy that is covering short and just take care of it. If he's good enough to like push and throw airstrikes at allies spawn and just get some people on full, then he should definitely do that. But as I said, you cannot forget about the short pushes as well, because you kind of like never know. Maybe the first push will also be like 6-man push through short, so he needs to be cautious, and he cannot get full. And as I said, the spawn time for Axis is also 30 seconds. Well, it doesn't work on my config, but it's 30 seconds anyway, as you can see on the top right corner. So the one person, I suppose, just goes short and covers it, and then everyone else pushes into tower. because that's where allies go. So you need to remember that there is still a fence here, so you're probably just going there on first spawn is kind of waste of time for Axis, so everyone is just going this the cemetery ladder, going down and going into tavern. I guess that actually like on the first spawn getting ammo packs is not really needed for medics of Axis team, because you can still, because it's kind of important, if allies are fast enough then they can be like already in North Courtyard when Axis are in tavern, so it's really important to have eyes on the door that leads to tavern. And Axis usually just have like 4 or 5 guys in tavern, just you know camping, checking corners, doing different things. You usually just want to stay like kind of leaning in different areas, so the allies forces don't really know what to shoot. They will probably still get you with like rifle grenade or um, or Panzerfaust, whatever they have, but it just need to make sure that that person, the allies guy, only takes like max 1 guy, and it's still fine. You can have like also 1 guy sitting on the table and just shooting, telling information how many he can see coming to tavern. That's also a crucial information for guy that plays short, because if he knows that there's like 4 or 5 guys coming into tavern, that means that there's max like 2 or 1 guy coming short, so he can play more aggressively. And obviously when Axis have spawned, then it's way easier for the guy playing short to just push spawn way and throw strikes, throw arties at the ally spawn. So you can have like, for example, 1 guy at the table, 1 guy camping here. That is, as I'm saying, just like a proposition for you, but you don't need to follow it. You can just pretty much sit in whatever corner you like. You can have like someone here camping, you can have like someone here. Usually on the right side of tavern from Axis perspective, so like around this area, you have like 2 medics. One is just shooting, second guy is reviving. But it's important to like spread like kinda equally, so there's at least 1 player in this room, 1 player around this area, and 1 player around this area. It doesn't really matter where do you put like 2 or well, like 2 players, or where only 1 player plays. But it's important to have an eyes on all of those 3 corridors, because obviously like when allies come inside, they'll just spread left, middle, right, because they don't want to get stuck in 1 place. So for Axis, this is the pretty much main point of defense, where they meet also allies for the first time. And probably considering we have Axis have ammo packs here and also CP, that is probably not gonna be made, but because it will be more useful for allies. But still, you should probably just stay in the tavern and just like lock down it, so allies will not go through, because then the only way they can go through is over short. But we have 1 guy there, and if he says that it's a short push, then some people from tavern can obviously like go back into the wine cellar, and then using the usually cemetery ladder, they can also help the short guy shooting and like rejecting allies from planting the dynamite at the crypt. So you usually don't push further, like outside of tavern as Axis, but if everything is under control and you feel like kinda confident enough to do it, then why not? There are like a lot of places which you can hide in, so allies also need to check those areas if there is no one camping inside them, or if there is like no one at MG trying to kill them. But at least for the first spawn, it's kinda safe for both forces attacking and defending, because yeah, Axis will not have time to push through, because allies will be already here. And so let's say that the Axis lost the tavern area. They lost the flag as well. So allies spawn here, and they are doing like a heavy push using the wine cellar. So when you spawn, you can go up or down to fight for the crypt, and just shoot allies. Like usually there's like one guy that covers the person that used to like cover short. He can play like around this area, so he helps guys shooting at allies who try to plant the crypt and get the gold, but at the same time he needs to have an eye on like a field ops or a sneaking engineer from spawn. So it's kinda like a pretty important role for this guy who plays Spawnway. And Axis forces on the cemetery, on the other hand, they just need to like have a good crossfire. It's obviously kinda a good position for Axis because allies need to climb the ladder, so it's harder for them to aim. So like good grenade spam and in general crossfire is kinda important, but you need to like remember that, for example, if you just camp here, look at the ladder, then allies can just nade you here, you know, so you need to be careful as well. But it's always good to have someone, like at least 2 medics around this area, so they can revive each other, they can shoot this area here. And you need to have guys also making sure that there is no one climbing the crypt ladder. I mean, the cemetery ladder. They can obviously like climb, but it's important that they will not push outside into cemetery, because then the people covering the crypt might have problems, because they will have one ladder that they need to take care of, and then people at the cemetery. There's also one good position that you can crossfire cemetery from, which is using this like rooftop here. So you can see like people climbing the cemetery ladder, and you can also shoot people climbing the crypt ladder there. But obviously it like works both sides, so there can be, for example, one allies with Panzer, for example, or a field up that just plays here, and then he throws strikes at Axis spawn, and it's just being annoying for Axis forces that are defending the cemetery. And then, so the last part is that Axis forces lost the crypt, they lost the gold. Allies have the gold, but let's say that the gold is at the flag. So Axis forces, when they spawn, they still have time to prepare one more defense against allies. And as I said, like, you need to remember that there is a fence here usually, if it hasn't been destroyed yet. So you cannot usually like go this way, but obviously Axis can also destroy it. So it just depends how the combat goes, pretty much. And then the defense that Axis usually do when allies have gold. So as I said, the gold is coming from let's say it's coming from tavern, from flag. So that's the hallway the gold will be coming from, and there's like usually a lot of allies pushing into south courtyard. So Axis need to be set up here. This is pretty nice, like a camping position for Axis. You can have like Axis also like shooting here or here. Just it's very important to have a crossfire there. So there's at least 2 guys on this courtyard that shoot them, or even 3 guys. You probably need also 1 person in a small courtyard or elbow, so he can see the bridge. So if one of the allies, for example, spawn back and he's on the bridge, it's not like you got the information and he's not going to spawn rape you. Obviously, another way of spawn raping Axis is just spawning at the flag and then using the ladder to come cemetery and then just coming this way, and you can always also get kinda spawn raped here. But usually like this place is left kinda opened, so whoever like for example dies and gets gift from Axis team at this stage needs to be careful and kinda need to pay attention that there might be someone from Allies team that for example spawn at flag, went cemetery into Axis spawn and might be just camping for the spawning guy. And also a good place to be where Allies are kind of pushing hard and Axis are kind of a little bit struggling is like the... Oh, you get the ammo packs here as well for Allies. But as I said, probably the first spawn is not really that important, but maybe later. So Axis, they don't really need to play with field ops here unless they want to like spawn rape Allies in spawn. That's also another way to get into Ally spawn, probably a faster way for Axis. So this is the house Axis usually are in. Okay, that's interesting. We can like camp here or going to the tower and just give the information for others, like if they can see how many players are coming under tower. Yeah, and I suppose that's pretty much it, because if Allies break the defense, you can obviously like shoot people from here, but it will be hard for you to kill dogs and probably someone else coming this way with dogs. And considering there's Allies spawn behind this house, then it's gonna be pretty hard for Axis. Obviously when like you're Allies and you have dogs here, for example, then make sure that there is, for example, no one camping behind this corner, or like no one camping inside the track, which you can jump in. Then it's kinda also safe to just use this house with ammo packs to go inside the ally spawn, and then when dogs are here, then it's pretty much GG already, because allies spawn here, so the route towards the track is very fast, so allies can easily win it. And yeah, I suppose that's it. It's hard for me to tell like what classes exactly you should take, but probably like as allies, you probably like on first spawn you need like tons of medics, because you will fight for flag if you will go flag way. And NG is not really needed unless you want to do like a short push with, for example, NG and medic, and maybe hoping that, for example, medic or field ops playing at short of Axis team will get full, for example, and you will be fast enough to plant the dynamite. And then when you cap the flag, as allies, you probably need at least 2 NGs, because playing with one is kind of risky. I'm not really sure if rifle on this stage will be useful, because I suppose that shooting rifle using the ladder can be a little bit tricky, as people probably don't really know the like trick shots here yet. So, but it really depends like on you and your skills and whatever you feel comfortable with. So I guess having field ops here is also a good idea for allies, as they can just throw strikes and hoping that those strikes will get Axis. Yes, and for Axis you usually just, considering you got ammo packs above the wine cellar, close to tavern, there is no really need to go for field ops in tavern. And you can also like obviously pick up the enemy weapons, so that's also pretty fine, so you will not run out of ammo. So you just kinda rely on medic classes, and then probably like a Panzerfaust or a rifle, whatever one prefers, to stop allies coming tavern. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it. So if I just wanted to like make it kind of short version of what I just said, then allies are attacking, Axis defending, spawn time is 30 for both teams. Allies are spawning here. They have two ways to go to come to tavern to get the gold. It's either long or short via the Axis spawn. Normally allies just push short, push long, sorry, and Axis are set up in the tavern here. So the first fights are around this door, so the reviving part that medics need to do from allies team is very important. Then there is a flag here, which allows you to spawn around this area. Then allies need to drop down with Angies and plant the crypt and get the gold and transmit it back to ally spawn using again either long, so back flag, I mean like ladders here, wine cellar, flag, tavern, north courtyard, south courtyard, and then close to tavern, or using the short way, which usually is actually more dangerous because Axis spawn is here, and going this way either right here or under the bridge to the tower, and then just going into the track to deliver the gold, or going using the like a safer way using the ally spawn, which is, I just want to remind you that the spawn, the default spawn is at flag, and then if you want to spawn back, it's 1. Yeah, and I suppose that's it. So I hope this map can be kind of, I mean, from my experience, at least in RTCW, it was kind of fun map to play on, and I hope that in it it's gonna be also fun, and you have a lot of fun playing this map. I suppose that first games on this map can be kind of tricky, especially if you've never played it before or you used to dislike it, but this map is like mostly about reviving each other and playing as a team, but it also has some space for players sneaking and just trying to do something alone on their own if like the tavern pushes don't work, for example. So yeah, I hope we will have a lot of fun playing this map, and maybe it will stay, if you will like it obviously and enjoy playing this map, it will stay for a longer period of time in Gathers.